Wow, time flies. We're at week 16, and the playoff picture is getting clearer. But the conversations are getting louder. From officiating, criticism, to the rankings that don't make sense. There's a lot to unpack. So let's break it down. On this very special episode of Bishop Breakdown, number 9, we're breaking down week 16, the Tulane and JMU's playoff performance, Raw, SmackDown, NBA, NFL power rankings, NBA MVP watch, and where does this NFL standings are really heading leading into the final 2 weeks of the season. And we'll address the elephant in the room, athletes, officiating, and how criticism is being handled across sports. It's all on the table, so let's break it down. So let's kick it off with Monday Night Football. It must be Monday, right? Because this game was boring. The first half, team stats are like this. They combined for 0 for 7 on third down. 5 punts, 1 interception, finally a field goal by Miami, and with 17 seconds left in the second quarter, guess what? A TD was scored. Wild business. But the second half, business picked up. Aaron Rodgers woke up and chose violence. 2 TD passes in the second half to win the game for the Steelers. Go Steelers, go, I guess. Let's cover Monday Night Raw. My man Gunther comes out happy as all you know what. Like a pig rolling around in filth. I mean, like a kid stole the last cookie out of the cookie jar and his mom was like, "Where's the cookie at?" He knows, but he ain't gonna tell her, so he's all like cheesing. Took the Christmas spirit, aka Cena's retirement, and took it from each and every one of us and everyone in the building. Mad heat. They wouldn't let him get a syllable out without booing him, and he ate it up. And then the Usos versus the New Day. Great chemistry, obviously. I mean, they've had a billion matches together in some form or some way, but the Usos and the New Day always put on a show, always do what they need to do to entertain each and every one of us. So thank God for the New Day. The Usos get the victory, probably get a title match soon, which is fine. I think the Usos versus Dragon Lee, AJ Styles, banger. Then Io and Rhea, stupid friendship, but whatever. They coming out and the Kabuki Warriors attack, of course, and beat them like they stole something. Old school gang tactic, beat them down, spray them a miss, leave them laying. So clearly they're going to have a rematch for the title sooner or later. But we'll see. It might be a fatal four-way because all these other tag teams want a shot at these tag team titles. And then Maxine defends her newly won women's IC title against Ivy Nile. And Maxine, she shocked me. She did what she needed to do. She looked at those videos, those vignettes she'd been having for a couple weeks. And she went for submissions. She was a different wrestler, bar none. She made Ivy Nile tap out to an ankle lock. Enough said, right? And then Rey Mysterio takes on Logan Paul. And it was a match. But the key points from it, the Masked Man interfered, curb stomp Rey. Logan gets the win. He runs away, stops mid-thing because CM Punk was out there with a chair and looked at him and unmasked. And guess who? Mr. 8-Town Down himself, Austin freaking Theory. I mean, I'm interested in the group. Hey, I love Theory. Theory, the Bronze, Logan, Mr. Heyman. Like, clearly, I think they can do something. This young team. I mean, these aren't world heavyweight champions like the Bloodline or tag team champions or Brock Lesnar or CM Punk. Like, these are new guys. These are up and coming guys, and I think with Heyman, the vision could be something that's going to take down all the big wigs and be champions for years to come. But I have no faith in WWE, so prove me wrong, please. Next up, we got Friday Night SmackDown. And it was in my neck of the woods. It was in Grand Rapids, Michigan, which is about 2 hours or so from me. And I chose not to go. I should have went because not only did they have the Friday Night SmackDown live, but they taped tonight's Raw and next week's SmackDown. So the wrestlers can get Christmas off, which is awesome. So, but they provided 3 different shows, so I should have went. But I didn't. So I'm just going to act like it didn't happen and watch it live like everybody else and not read spoilers. So I'm going to act like I don't know what happened. But Damian Priest came out for this promo. Well, obviously he's going to talk about John Cena. Thank you, John. All this stuff like he was John Cena's best friend or something. Stupid. But he gets attacked because Zelina Vega comes out and distracts him and talks about, we're not through with you yet, boy. Something stupid. And Alistair ended up putting Priest to a table. Whatever. I'm already done with this feud because Alistair and Vega should have won the first match. But they didn't. Moving on. We got the team of Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes taking on DIY in a really, really good match. Really, really good tag match. Definitely go out of your way to watch this match because they have chemistry together and it was dope. Tag team wrestling at its finest. And they're not even a tag team. But DIY, you know what you get with them. And the main event, the Wyatt Six defends their title against MFTs. And yeah, that ended in no contest. So whatever. Why even have it? Stupid. SmackDown just insults my intelligence every single week, and I'm not looking forward to 3 hours next month. Like 3 hours sounds like a chore. Like pulling teeth. Like taking the trash out, but every day for 3 hours straight. Just wild. Nope. Not looking forward to it. I mean, I'll do it for y'all because that's what y'all come to me to get. The little insight, little recap. I'm not going to go blow by blow like most podcasters, but I'm going to tell you what I feel is important. And that's all you need to hear about SmackDown because SmackDown was a show. So we got that out of the way. Stupid. But exciting things. Week 16 of the NFL. Yes, week 16. 2 more weeks left until the playoffs. Time flies when you're having fun, right? So they're starting to do more Saturday games. So these games were hit or miss. First one, not so much. Second one, yeah, that's the game of the night. First, we start with Eagles versus Commanders. It was a wild game. Marcus Mariota goes down with an injury. So Josh Johnson, no clue who he was before this game. Not going to lie. But he took over as QB, and the game was over then. Like Saquon doing Saquon things, 21 carries, 132, touchdown. Jalen Hurts didn't throw interceptions, made touchdowns. Moving on. The game of the night, Packers versus Bears. Caleb Williams, their second-year quarterback, is the real deal. I mean, he threw a dime in the back of the end zone on 4th down with 24 seconds left to tie the game. Before that could even happen, his team kicked the onside kick, and guess what? They got it. And then in overtime, he sealed the victory with a bomb to DJ Moore. Not only was it a great throw, it was even better catch. 46 yards later, touchdown, game over. They go in the playoffs because, Lions suck. And but the Packers and Bears rivalry back on the table. I'm for that. Definitely for that. So here's my Sunday's takeaway. Like there's a lot of games. Some games didn't matter. I'm focusing more on the news that mattered from this weekend, this Sunday. The Chiefs are terrible without Mahomes. They lost to a 2-12 Tennessee Titans team. They also lost their backup, Gardner Minshew, and he tore his ACL too. Like, what's in the water that they're drinking that they're just tearing their ACLs like it's a thing to do in Kansas City? And then the Jags, when did they start being good? They win again. Trevor Lawrence, another 4 TDs, 3 passing, 1 on the ground. They could end up getting the number 1 seed. It's still possible. If they win out and few things happen, the Jacksonville Jaguars could be the number 1 seed in the AFC. Yeah, you heard that right. Number 1 seed. The Jacksonville Jags. Oh, what world are we living in right now? And then my home team, the Lions, they put themselves in a pickle. Like, even if they win out and the Packers win one of the games either next week or the week after, the Lions stay at home. They need the Packers to lose both their games and win both their games just to make the playoffs. And wild. Like, the Packers need to either lose to the Ravens. No, they need to lose to the Ravens and lose to the Vikings. They might lose to the Ravens because they have to win out too. But the Vikings might play spoiler for the Lions and just lose. you know. But the Lions lost back-to-back games for the first time since 2022. They also lost that game against the Steelers with not just 1, but 2 offensive pass interference calls back-to-back in the end zone. That says everything you need to hear about the Lions season. Just, that's how the cookie crumbles. And then, can't forget this nugget, but here's the dummy of the week. DK Metcalf, the wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers, the former wide receiver for the Seattle Seahawks. He grabbed a Lion fan by the shirt and tried to punch him. You would think he called his mama a bad word, but no. The fan claims he called him by his government name. So I'll do it just to see maybe he'll come over here and punch me in the face. Mr. D. Callan Zacharias Metcalf. Yeah, I said it. Bro, you need to have some more restraint. The fans ain't going to lose anything in this situation, no matter what he calls you. He can call you N-word. He can do all this other stuff because that's what you're claiming. You're claiming he said some slurs. But even if he was, you have to be the bigger person because you are the one getting millions of dollars. But my friend, you're probably getting suspended for at least 1 game. And that hurts your team, not this guy. This guy in the front row who spent thousands of dollars to heckle you, he gets nothing taken away from him. But your team is fighting for a playoff spot, and now you put them in a position where they might not have you for 1 or 2 games. And if they lose, that's on you, my brother. So shame on you. And then my one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch, Mr. Cool Joe Burrow, 4 TDs, Bengals steamroll. Man, I know I hate living in what ifs. But what if he was healthy all year? The Bengals could be where the Jags are right now. No doubt in my mind that with Cool Joe, they would have a better record and they would be in a better position than knowing that they're out of the playoff hunt right now. With 2 weeks left to go, there's no way the Bengals can win and go into the playoffs. So with that being said, we got next year, and I hope Cool Joe can stay healthy because he deserves all the success. Him and my man Jamar Chase. Gotta love those two. Let's talk college football playoffs. I'm going to start with these. James Madison, 34. Oregon, 51. Tulane, 10. Ole Miss, 41. Not going to go the route that Notre Dame, they would have beat them both combined with their hands behind their back, because if they did what they had to do early in the season, they would have been there and we wouldn't even been talking about this. I'm going to go like this. The committee needs to pick the 12 best teams. There should be no blowouts like this, especially in the first round. Like, blowouts in the playoffs is not fun for anybody because if you look at it, James Madison and Tulane shouldn't even came for the game and just gave the victory to Oregon and Ole Miss because clearly they didn't show up. Well, at least on the field. Because the other two games were Alabama 34, Oklahoma 24, 10 points. Victory for Alabama. And Miami 10, Texas A&M 3. 7-point victory for Miami. JMU, James Madison, 17-point loss. Tulane, 31-point loss. I expect more from the playoffs. Hoping the next set of games, one is on New Year's Eve and the other three are on New Year's Day, will be more exciting. And I will cover all 4 games, including the semis and the championship game, on future episodes of this podcast. So, let's go to my favorite thing to talk about this week, the elephant in the room. All right, so I've seen a lot, especially with the Lions athletes criticizing officiating. Even with Puka Nacua last week, talking about how the refs ruined what was otherwise a great game. And that just means automatic fines for those players, because players cannot talk bad about the refs to the media, because whatever they say goes. Officiating, the refs, they don't make mistakes. But what if they did? And now you're telling your athletes, your players, that they can't say those things. They can't use their free speech to bring eyes to otherwise. I mean, there are some players who just, especially the NBA, that just wants to say, the refs don't like me, or the refs cheated me out of this, whatever. This free throw that could change the game, this first down, this touchdown, this holding that wasn't called, that maybe if they called it, it would change the projection of this game, and Team A might actually not have lost, and Team B would have lost, or Team B would have won, and Team A would have lost. But now your players are scooting around these things because the media, which I'm a part of, will ask those questions. Of course, I'm going to ask that question. I ain't stupid. I'm going to look at Puka. I'm going to look at Amon St. Brown. I'm going to look at Jared Goff. I'm like, so you really think that was offensive pass interference? Or do you think the refs made a wrong call? And as soon as they said, yes, I think the refs made a wrong call, he's instantly fine. Even though he's asked the question, and he's answering the question to the best of his ability. They should be able to talk about these things openly, and maybe things will get changed. Maybe the NFL will look and say, well, maybe we should look at these refs, especially with these gambling accusations all the time. Who knows? Hey, I've said it tons of times watching the game. Like, that wasn't a good call. That was wrong. And maybe you should check his phone, check his FanDuel account, and see if he has overs or unders. I mean, I'm just being funny, but it's true. It might be true. But you're going to punish your players for pointing those things out? I don't think it's fair. I think I understand the integrity of the game, because now you're second guessing the rest. But hey, it's human nature to second guess. Because if there was no second guess and it was just whatever it is in front of you, then people like me wouldn't have a platform to talk about my opinions and what I feel is wrong or right or good job or bad job or whatever. And I just call it like I see it. So if that was a bad call, I'm going to be like, yes, sir. That was not a pass interference. Granted, let's go back to the Lions game. That was offensive pass interference. As much as I want the Lions to win, Amon St. Brown should not have put his shoulder into the guy. And the one before that was a clear pick. Like, if it was a basketball game, perfect pick. But it's not. And you can't do that. And if defense can't do it, then offense can't do it. So it is what it is. And that's not why the Lions lost the game. They lost the game because they gave up rushing yards. Like, they had holes bigger than, like, a bus could go through those holes and not got tackled. So they need to the refs didn't cost him that game. But them being unable to talk about it with the media, with anybody, because they know what's going to happen. They know if they say, well, the ref cost me this game, boom, $150,000 fine, boom, $250,000 bond, boom. So I don't. It's not fair. The NFL needs to sit down and talk with the Players Association and let these players know that. Give them a context. So, well, you can, if they're asked that question, you can answer the question, because it's just stupid. Because now you're going to then go to the media and say you're not allowed to ask. Simple as that. Because why are you going to put your players in a situation where they're trying to be cordial, trying to be the guy and answer the questions that are being presented to them, and you vilify them by taking money from their family because they said the refs suck? Well, maybe the refs that day sucked. Maybe in his eyes, the ref sucks. He's not saying anything negative about the person, the ref. He's saying that ref on that any given Sunday ruined my opportunity to win or lose this game. Clear and simple. Players should be able to say what they want. Within reason, obviously, but walking on eggshells and being asked the same question, because I see it all the time in the press conference. They get the same question over and over and over again. And the one time they say, yes, you're right, and the NFL is like, ooh, money, ooh, piece of candy, that type of thing. So, come on, bro. Like I said all the time, be better. Talk it out. Figure it out so everybody's on the same page, so there's no uh-ohs, and all of a sudden, boom, I'm losing money because I said the wrong thing. You're a $1 billion company. NFL, do better. Talk to your players so everybody be on the same page. Talk to the reporters and tell them you know what you're doing, okay? And they can't answer that question, so don't even ask. You're going to have to figure something else out to ask, because they're not going to answer it anyway, so why even put it out there and into the ether? So enough of refs and BS. Let's talk NFL power ranking. You got the Denver Broncos, led by Bo Nix and Sutton and all them fellas over there. RJ Harvey, running back. They got a squad over there. Chicago Bears, obviously. Caleb Williams is willing that team to victories. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do in the playoffs. Seattle Seahawks in a nail-biter on Thursday against the LA Rams. They came back, 14, 15 points down? JSN, game over, And then the surprising power ranking team of the week, Jacksonville Jags. Who knew that if the Patriots and the Broncos lose the next two games and the Jags win the next two games, they'll be the number one seed in the AFC. Nuts. Then you got the LA Rams. They lost in overtime, but they still have one of the best quarterbacks in the league of Matt Stafford. And based on if they can get him back in time, Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams are 1A, 1B best wide receivers in the league. So the Rams are going to still be up there. Moving on to the NBA power ranking. I mean, the Thunder lost games. They've lost 3 all year, but they're still 25-3. So they don't move from that spot. Let's see, maybe they'll be in that spot all year long. Crazy things have happened. But Detroit Pistons are right below them with 22-6. Still putting up dubs. Still number one seed in the Eastern Conference. Then you got San Antonio Spurs with the unicorn himself, Victor Wembanyama. Like, Victor is a unicorn. That dude is too damn tall, too damn long to be stopped for real. Then you got the Nuggets with by possibly the greatest center of all time. I know this is a hot take or whatever you want to call it. I don't care. I love me some Shaq. I love me some David Robinson or Mutombo or Hakeem Olajuwon or Patrick Ewing. I love all of them. But they were not doing what Jokic is doing, averaging triple doubles with double digit assists and rebounds and almost 30 points a game. No, they weren't doing all that. They might have done the double doubles, but they weren't averaging triple doubles, making assists. You know. And then you got the Knicks, who are 20-8, the reigning, defending NBA Cup champions. And Jalen Brunson was like, I'm going to show you that I am Mamba mentality through and through with Kobe's on, dropping 47 points last night in Madison Square Garden. Normally it's the other way around when the visitors, their visiting star will come out and drop 50 on them. But he was like, I'm going to win this game for the Knicks and drop 47. So here's the MVP list for the NBA. We start off with Luka Doncic of the LA Lakers. 34.1 points per game, 8.8 dimes per game. And we got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander of the Oklahoma City Thunder. 32.5 points per game and the number one seed in the entire NBA. Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets. 29.4 points per game, 10.7 dimes per game, and 12.1 boards per game. And finally, Cade Cunningham of the Detroit Pistons. 27 points per game, 9.2 dimes, and the number one team in the East. So here's the Raw preview coming from Grand Rapids, Michigan, later today on Netflix. Gunther's being advertised, so let's see if the fans in Grand Rapids will let this man talk. Probably not. Boo. Then we got Asuka. Then you got Asuka taking on Rhea Ripley in a singles match. Javon Evans takes on Ray Americano, one of the many with El Grande Americana. And Nikki Bella is going to explain why she's doing what she's doing. Poor Nikki Bella, Hall of Famer, part of the Bella Twins, blah, blah, blah. And then Bayley takes on Roxanne Perez, which could be a good match. And then CM Punk tags with Rey Mysterio to take on Bronson Reed and the Masked Man himself, Austin Theory. But as we get closer to playoff time, the conversation matters just as much as the games. So thanks for listening to Bishop's Breakdown. If you appreciate honest takes and real context, follow and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, because episode 10 will be on its way sooner than you think. But until then, let's keep the conversations real. And remember, like John Cena said, control the controllables. And that's the show. Deuces. Ooses.